Hey guys, good evening. Welcome to 1010 Racing Weekends, brought to you by KYT Helmets, the helmets that we race in India and in the Asian Championship. Hey Ganesh, thanks for joining, man. Kushal, welcome Kushal. Hi. Sorry, got delayed by 30 seconds because of the technical setup which I wanted to try, but Ganesh, it's not my painting. I bought this painting. I didn't paint this, so nothing spectacular about this. What you see is what is there on the wall. So I hope everyone can hear me. Let's wait for a few more minutes before I start the topic. I hope um, you guys were able to, some of you guys were able to join my previous sessions or were able to see my previous videos also, um, which I have put it on IGTV and also on YouTube. So this is basically you can share with your friends who are looking to understand how to start racing. You can share with your friends this information, these particular videos which I'm making, which will be available on YouTube and Instagram, IGTV. They can take a look at it, and I think most of the topic or most of the doubts that they have will be answered. The questions will be answered in that particular videos, respective videos. I see Tarun has joined. Hey Tarun, I've been waiting for your response, man. I don't know where have you been. I hope we will do our chat sometime next week. So this week I'm going to take an interesting topic. I think this topic was actually initiated by Mr. Emmanuel Jabraj of Gusto Racing, and in terms of the talent pool and talent available in India, how the talent is identified, what does a team looks for a talent, looks for something in a rider, in a talent, what do they expect out of them, what are the points that they evaluate, what are the ways that a talent is in terms of is followed and also sourced by the team, and also what are the ways that a rider can approach a team. These are a few of the topics that I'm going to discuss about racing today. So meanwhile, if you have any questions, you can put it in the question box, not in the comments. But there is a way to send your questions to me, and if you can send those questions, fine. Otherwise, you can comment also. That's not a problem, but I might miss it. Just a couple of more minutes before I start off. So I presume all of you who are here have been some part of racing or some part of racing academy or aspire to be racers. Um, for me, the number of people joining this particular conversation with me doesn't matter, because the most important thing for me is to spread the message of racing, the various ways of getting into racing, all the doubts that you guys have is what I want to clarify. As long as the message reaches the required set of audience, I'm happy. It's not about the numbers, it's not about the quantity, it's about quality of people that who are watching this particular episodes of 1010 Race Weekend. So let me start off. I think we have a decent number of people who have already joined. So last week we spoke about how to identify a team, and and in this during this conversation there was a topic which said, which someone questioned, Emmanuel Jabraj had questioned that how do we identify talent, what is the availability of talent pool in our country. So if you actually see, uh, I always believe that India has an abundant amount of talent, in abundant talent, in racing talent in this country. But I think the knowledge and the know-how of joining motorsports is has been the key deficiency for us, and that's one reason we have not been able to reach the talent which is available. Okay, so now let me put my perspective of what a talent is, who a talent is, and then I will generalize it in terms of what will the team look for, or how you have to approach various teams or various setups which can provide you with opportunities in national or international. So as far as uh, the talent is concerned, my way of looking at a talent is not someone who just is able to write fast. Uh, by by nature, we all have some inbuilt talent, and or we actually have multiple talents. We have capability to do many things. In this, we as a human being identify one particular activity and one particular um, uh, it could be a sport or music or whatever. We start liking it and we start pursuing it. Actually, the way I look at it is that a human being can do anything, right? The limits are far beyond, and what we are the ones who limit ourselves in doing certain things. So in this, a particular individual or a person chooses and falls in love with this one particular activity. Actually, in fact, today I was reading somewhere that there was a guy who's supposed to be the most I don't talented or the most intelligent guy in the world. He's a doctor, he's an engineer, he delivers pizza, he delivers courier, and he works in as a veterinarian, as a dentist, various other things, some 6 7 uh, key roles that he can play, and he's acquired this knowledge. And how is it possible that one individual who can acquire this so much amount of knowledge? There are many people who have the interest and have pursued two careers in their lives, two different careers also. Where do they find the time? Where do they find the energy and the mind space to do that? That's because we have we require talent, require capacity to hone any talent that we want, and it's the interest what builds up the commitment towards that particular activity or sport, or interest that you want to pursue. So for me, a talent in motorcycle racing is someone who has a great passion for motorcycle, right? That is the first priority. He has to have a great passion for motorcycle, and understanding the motorcycle. In the motorcycle basically becomes a part of him. It's as passionate as how a kid is with a toy car. That's how I look at it. And he loves the car, he plays around with the car, he tries new things with the car. He might try to with the toy car, what I mean, might take the toy car and make it jump off a bridge, or jump off a table, or drop it off a table, set up a ramp and try to make it fly. So there are many things a kid does with a toy, right, with a toy car. And before he actually understands, like, the capabilities of the car, and then he decides, okay, these are things that is possible with the car, these are things that's not possible to do with this particular toy which I have. That is the same thing what a rider or a riding talent is. A riding talent is someone who falls in love with a motorcycle, and he this particular equipment is becomes his toy, it becomes a part of him, and gives he makes it he uses starts using it in such a way that he starts toying it around and throwing it around, and tries to understand the limit of a particular motorcycle, of any motorcycle for that matter. So it's the love for the motorcycle which starts off you to take up motorcycle racing in a more serious manner. I love motorcycles. I want to be associated with motorcycles. I want to try different things with motorcycles, and it can be any form of racing, but this is the first step, a young kid who starts loving motorcycles or starts loving any form of two-wheeler riding, and then starts participating in motorcycle races. That is where the talent is starting to evolve. It's the love and the affection for this particular equipment, and then comes the identification of either this particular talent. It can be great riding talent. If this particular talent is able to ride a competitive race. If it is a competitive race, can he ride on the road, on the dirt, off-road, rally, various formats of racing, or this talent is equipped to do stunts, or is this talent is a has the interest towards just touring and doing a lot of cross countries. That itself is a form. I wouldn't call it a sport, but adventure riding is also a part of motorcycling activity. So motorcycling activity can be split in many forms. So this love for motorcycle is what translates and transforms into the love for the sport itself. So when I look for a talent, this is a very personal view. It's not a generic view. When I look for a talent, this is what I look in: the love for motorcycles. It could be a technician, it could be a rider, it could be just a person who is managing the team. It could be anybody a part of the team, but the love for motorcycle is the basic foundation that a team owner looks for, and especially me, that's what I look for. When you have this particular interest and love towards motorcycle, you will automatically start collecting and integrating and researching and identifying data that is required for you to enter into a competitive sport. This is not something that you go to a school or you go to a college or you join an academy and you say, hey, I'm a racer now. No, it doesn't happen like that. If you are expected to become a racer just because you are attending academies, that's not the only way, I would say. I'm not saying that's the wrong way, but I'm saying that's not the way to be identified as a racer. You become a racer much before you actually start, racing on the track. You start preparing mentally, and I spoke about this, preparing yourself mentally well in the previous session. Of those of you who were there, you guys can check the videos also. Those who were in there, I spoke about this. So what you need to do is what I normally look at is this person passionate about motorcycle. The second thing I look at is how far is this person ready to go and how far he is ready to commit to the sport. It's a very strong commitment that you make towards the sport, and I don't think that I want you to make the commitment initially. There are many stages before you take up racing seriously, right? The first stage is exploring. As a aspiration, as a aspiring rider, a racer, you have to scout for academies that you will join, where you will get your basic foundation right. But before you join the academy, you're already preparing yourself of how racing happens and so on and so forth. So if you are going to I have seen many talents or many aspiring riders who have come to me, and they have absolutely no knowledge about what racing is, how a lap time is measured, what is qualifying, how much they have to do for qualifying, what speed the bike can do, what are the possibilities, what are the different formats of racing which is available in India. This background check nobody does. They just come, they think it's like, if I go to a college, I become an engineer. So if I go to an academy, I become a racer. So that's not the format. I mean, you might become a racer, but not a successful racer. I'm talking from the perspective of becoming a successful motorcycle racer. So when you start looking at after joining an academy, you need to understand the basic foundation, basic techniques of riding around the racetrack is what you're doing. So when you do that, your prior knowledge that you have acquired of racing and this experimentation uh, which you want to do with the bike or the toy that you have. Your motorcycle is your toy. So that the activity that you want to conduct with the toy and the experiments that you want to try with the toy is what will interest someone owner like me. How innovative are you with your motorcycle? How innovative are you, in playing around with the motorcycle? I mean, we all make mistakes, and you need to make mistakes, and you need to correct this mistake constantly. But how do you put in that effort? And that is why I said you need to have a strong will and commitment and perseverance to get into the sport, because it's going to hurt you a lot. It's going to hurt you mainly emotionally a lot. So it is very important. It is very important that you apply this particular commitment, before you take up the sports. And so that is one particular uh, character, or one particular point that I look for in a talent who wishes to take up racing. Hi Saif, please update contact the website Google. I tried a lot but I did not get any response. uh, Saif, the Google numbers are given there because of the current situation. Maybe you're not able to reach us. Give us some time till June, and we'll be up and running. We have to put things together back, and so give us some time. Meanwhile, you can go to the website www.1010racing.com. Go to the training section. Go through the details of the academy, and you can fill the inquiry form. So as soon as we are live and running, we will share the details with you by email ID or through your phone number. So please register. That's one way to be in touch. Also follow us on social media. I'm sure you're already doing that. So by which you will get an update as soon as we are ready to start the academy. So coming back to the talent part. So that is how I identify the talent. I look for these two important points or important traits of in a talent. And this is what I want. I want love for the bike. The bike is a toy for me, is the attitude that the rider should have. And second, when he he commits 100%. So the first phase, as I was talking about, the first phase of for you to do is to explore the opportunities, explore your skill sets, right? I believe that anybody who starts early can develop the skill sets. So if you start very late and you need more time to develop the skill sets, I've spoken enough about the age factor involved in racing. You can see the videos. But having said that, you need to have this time to experiment and play around. And so for you to do that is to get into an academy and get the basic knowledge of it, and then get onto the track by yourself. And I would say, try to do things on your own. I mean, the problem in this particular industry is that there are too many voices, right? In a team, in a environment, in a paddock, in our racetrack, there are too many voices which gets into your head. So I would say, going forward to any talent, that you need to listen to one person who could be your coach or your team manager, whoever it could be. It could be one person, and you are the ones who are going to experiment things, and you are the ones who are going to push the limit of the bike. What Marcus does, that's all he does. He plays around with the bike. He puts the bike to test. He puts the bike in places where nobody would have imagined to put, in terms of the lean angle, the lines, the way he opens throttle, the way he slides the bike. Nobody had ever thought that someone can do that. How does he do that? Because he's already experimented it. And he does it because he loves to do that. He loves doing that. He wants to see the limit of the bike and where it can go, and how much he can push it. And that's why Marcus is a talent for Honda, and that's why Honda loves him, because he pushes their technology. He just doesn't push the bike. He pushes the whole 25 or 30 odd team members who work on that bike, on his bike, to perform, and to give him the best. And when he pushes, they also get pushed, and that's why the team is so strong, and that's where a team becomes strong. It's not one way push. So when you start exploring this way of riding, and when you start putting this blocks together for yourself as to how to experiment with a bike, when you start doing that, you will automatically start getting or you will automatically be visible in the market of someone who's trying to do something different, right? Let's get to the part. Okay, I'm not saying you have to be a champion, you have to win races, you have to be in the top three. I don't want to get into that direction, or I don't want to make a statement like that. I want you to understand that if you are something new, if you are something different, and if you have the talent to do something new with the bike, and then hence get some lap times of it, or get some positions of it, or trying to get some positions of it, these are the things that will interest a team owner like me. So for that, you need to play around with the bike. So don't look at it from a perspective, I have to enjoy the bike, and the rest will fall in place automatically. So this is what I look for a talent. So let me come to the way a talent should approach to be visible to a team. So if you have to be visible to a team, there are many ways to get into getting associated with a team. I will answer one question along with it, what Gautam had asked some time back. If you want to join a team, is you the first way is to I wouldn't say the first way, but there is a way to be part of a team is to create your own team, right? And like I said, you don't need to have a 10-member crew or a 5-member crew. A team is a team. Even you, this is how racing was in the early days. It was just you, the mechanic, and the bike, right? So you, the rider, a mechanic who comes to set up your bike and repair your bike, and maybe a helper, maybe a friend who comes along with you to get your water, and the basic support system. The 3-member team can be formed by any one of you guys. You don't need to actually go and say, oh, I need a team, I need to be part of a team. And you don't need to be a team to race. Those days are over. I mean, those days are still there, I would say. I'm sorry. Let me erase that part of it. When we used to race, we used to come as individuals and race, and there was never a team. Being part of a team is a pride, yes, and it is also a lot of pressure to be being part of a team. Many racers who started their careers being part of a team, who are current set of racers, know the pressures that comes along with a team. There is very limited time to enjoy a sport such as motorcycle racing. One has to really enjoy motorcycle racing. So if you want to try your hands on racing, if you want to try something with a free hand, the best way I would say is to take your bike, take one mechanic, identify a mechanic or a technician who can do work on your bike. That is a task by itself, yes. But if you can identify that, and if you can buy yourself a bike, you can be your own team boss, and you can run your own team. So absolutely there is no worry. So that is if you ask me, that's a great way to start your racing career. I mean, that's the ideal way I would put it as. I mean, it might sound a bit radical, but I think that's the ideal way to start your racing career, by doing your own stuff. Then comes the second part. Motorcycle racing predominantly across the world is a very commercial. It's evolving to be a commercial platform, right? It is a commercial platform because it is a sport which involves expensive equipment, expensive scenarios, like repairs and development of the bike, and expensive gear. But yeah, and it is a kind of expensive sport if you want to start trying it, very hard, unlike a football, which is much cheaper, yeah, for sure. But when you want to take this racing, in a serious manner, it doesn't matter. You need to just identify a team which can provide you a platform, which is a package. Okay, let me put it as a package. A team that can provide you with a package that can actually give you an experience. I wouldn't say results. I'm still not coming to the result part of it. Okay, results are in your hands, but I'm coming to the experience part of it. Who can give you a great experience of racing a motorcycle in a competitive environment? You need to identify that team. So, being a commercial platform, the best way to enter a team, I mean, post your training, post your practices, and post your mindset is very clear that you want to start racing in a serious manner. That is when I would recommend that you step into a team, because you will have your due respect as a rider. If you're a fresher, you are just going to be sitting there and spending your money, and hence you will not reap the benefits, the best benefits of the team. But if you can put together an approach where either you take up one make races, do one make races for a year or two, and then move on to a team, or set up your own team, which is your own crew. I would say, let's not put it as a team. You don't have to register as a team. You can ride as an individual, but you can have your own setup, which is your mechanic, your toolbox, your bike, and your helper. If you can put a small unit together and then have some experience, and then you go speak to a team, you will have a better negotiation, a better outlook, and a better understanding of what you're getting into. And at that point of time, when the team looks at you, the team starts to evaluate you as a talent rather than a trainee. Understand? As far as if you're starting new with a team, I think for the 2 to 3 years you will be a trainee, and you will be looked up as trainee only until unless you are, something marvelous and something very, outperforming, which is a very, very rare scenario, what I have seen. But so let's put it from that perspective. Okay, I'm going to take one question and then continue. Kushal, is racing costly, sir? Yes, Kushal, racing is an expensive sport because of the infrastructure involved, because of the motorcycle, and because of the love for motorcycle that we have, and the levels of motorcycling that we want to push on the racetrack, to push ourselves and the machine. We once you get into it, you don't see a limit to it, and you keep pushing yourself and the motorcycle to a extent where it starts to become expensive. I mean, per se, if you want to come and race, you come with your stock bike and race, and suddenly you feel you're slow, and then you say, I want to change something on the engine, and you want to change an exhaust, and you want to put an ECU. That is how it builds. And as you start putting this whole platform together, it costs money, and when you see, it does look and evolve, turns out to be an expensive sport, right? So having said that, coming back to the talent, so the best way for you is to get into a position where you actually can negotiate a good deal with a team, and because of its commercial aspect, you need to identify a good team where you can pay that money and be part of a racing team, and and get the best out of the racing team. At this point, when you start spending and paying a team, uh, uh, then at that point only you will start to understand what are the traits and the skill sets that are required to be part of the team, and the team also will start to understand you and look at you as a talent and rather than a trainee. So this is one option. If you we will have a more detailed discussion about this in the webinars which are going to come. So that is one way, is to pay and ride. So a pay and ride format is an effective format to to experience racing again, and that is your first step into more competitive racing. So at what point does the team approach you, and what do they look for in you? If I want to speak from a team perspective, okay, before that I will answer Saif. Saif, please register there. We are trying to get everything up and running sometime in June. Maybe the second week of June, we will start announcing the academies and the courses. We are coming up with a new format of new programs, a new format of training. So please look out for that. And then, once you get an email or message or something, you will be able to contact us, and then we can take it up from there. So coming to the point where a team identifies you and and says, hey, why don't you come and ride for me? Again, there are two formats of acceptance there. Either the team will just offer you a ride on an experimental basis to evaluate your talent, or the team might say, hey, come over, you are a great talent, I will pay you money. So these are two parts to it. So you can look at being on both parts depending on how good you are and what kind of team you are negotiating with. So let's consider the first scenario. Let's consider the first scenario that you've been riding for some time. You have ridden for a couple of years in the racetrack, and you have some decent results in your bag. Not necessarily a championship, but you have some decent results in your bag, and you are proving to be eyeball turner on the racetrack. The way you ride, your attitude on the track, everything. So primarily what the teams look out for, I would say, is not how fast you are. Like again I said, and maybe it will be in similar to what I had said earlier to my perception of selecting a rider. The team will look out for the commitment, the loyalty that you have towards the sport, the love you have towards the sport. If you are going to be a horse which is going to race for long, and is not someone who's come for a stopgap or a fun activity, because if the team is going to pick you up, the team is going to invest in you, their time, effort, and money. I mean, every session you will hear this particular words for me: time, effort, and money. Okay, it's called TEM. TEM. Time, effort, and money is constantly spent by someone on you as a talent or to build you as a talent. So they will look out for your commitment first towards the sport and towards racing. How many times have you hit a hard surface and you have come back and you have been trying for so many. These are the factors that initially they will look for, and not for someone who is proving to be very fast. Yeah, we will look at speed also at some point of time, but there are situations where we have made selections not just because someone was fast, because we could have had all the top fastest riders in India in our team, but that is not the only thing that we look out for. So a team looks out for more than the speed and the performance. Performance and speed actually comes in at about, if you put it in order, it could be a fourth or fifth priority. There are other priorities that we look into. So there commitment, there is fitness, there is the mental state of a person, his background, his family background. These are the things that we look at initially before we take up a rider, before a team, not only us, any team which seriously is into the sport. These are the activities, or these are the traits of a rider that they will look into. So please remember that, and I've said this in my previous academies also. A rider has to be disciplined, and the discipline is the key factor which a rider, because a team can provide the best of the bike, can give best of even further training to make you a great rider. But if you're not a great person, then a rider doesn't matter at all. There are many stories and many talents who have actually proved to be great talent but have fallen apart just because they have they have not been great people, or a great person. So because of that, they have lost their career. They have been champions, they have won championship, including world championships, and some of them don't exist in the sport anymore because of their character, because of their negativity, or the non that the individuality they show, or being aloof of things or being getting carried away by certain things where they start losing commitment towards the sport. These are the things that makes a rider fall apart of the sport and the team. Because if you see the team consists of many passionate guys as much as the rider, and if the rider starts to show lesser passion than the rest of the guys, that's when the team starts to fall apart, and that's a bad apple in the team. And if the rider is going to be the bad apple in the team, he's going to lose his chance in the team or even in the sport. So there are many examples to it, in India, internationally, which I can quote, and which their riders don't exist as riders anymore, because I mean there could be many other reasons that they can say why they are not part of racing, but the primary reason could be that they were not in the best of their behaviors in the sport. So that is one reason that it could fall apart. So that is very very important that a team looks out for in a talent, and then comes your riding talent and your riding technique and your speed and your performance, because speed, performance and talent can always be enhanced by the motorcycle and by the contributions from the technical team and the riding team, your coaching team, which can make you faster as you progress, and that can be done quickly. But to change a person as a human being is a very difficult task for any team owner or any coach. So please remember that. So your best behavior is what a team will look out for first, and not your performance. And even if they take you without a best behavior, even if you have bad behavior and they take you, it doesn't last for long. It falls apart very quickly, and you will be moving from team to team, but your career is not stable, and you are someone who's just is just racing, who doesn't have any commitment towards the sport. So remember that bit of it. So that is one way to look at it. So the team might take you and say, hey, you're a great person, you're a great talent, you have great riding skill sets, come over, maybe we can do something together where it can benefit you as a performer, as a sports person, as a team. It can benefit us also, but there need not be any commercial value to it. But if you get some deal like that, please do take it up, because teams will go a long way, and always look for a longer association instead of a shorter association. If you get something like that, just take it up, and try to be associated with the team and to give the best to the team, being loyal to the team, and being very respectable to the teammates, your technicians and everything. If you work like that, then automatically you will be a permanent feature in the team, and your performance will start building. The other side of it is, which not many riders get, even at the international level or even at the MotoGP level or the World Championship level. Certain After a point, you do start earning money through sponsorship, maybe, but the team doesn't give you actually any money. But there are situations where a team can come and say, you are a great talent, and we want to pay you some money for you to come and perform for us. And that's absolutely completely different contract altogether. And when you talk to them, that's a different approach altogether. But remember that they are hiring you not as a talent. Your talent phase is over. You are being hired as a professional, and the commitment and the discipline levels that you have to show when you are hired as a professional by being paid is totally a different level altogether. It's the next level of racing, where you need to show performance. You need to have the professionalism to understand the critique, the criticism, the corrections that the team is making for you, or the team has to be as open to you also for the changes that you are applying on their equipment to make the whole package better, the team better, and to hence enhance the performance. Hi, Samshian, good to see you. Um, Gautam, is 1010 expanding towards dirt also, sir? Dirt is also a format of racing which is also has always interested me, but have never had the opportunity in the last 10 years to venture into dirt. Maybe, I don't know, maybe we can look at this format of racing as the years go by. But it's quite an interesting format. But I've not been directly exposed or involved with any activities on the dirt except for the flat dirt training that we do. Um, Maybe someday we will look at 10 in the dirt races also, in the MX races also, or maybe the rallies. I don't know. But I do have a inclination towards doing dirt races. So I wouldn't completely switch off the scenario. Yeah, right. So I hope that answers your question. So that is what a talent is, how a team requests looks at a talent. And remember, when they take you on a as a trial basis, as a talent, and say, okay, I'm going to try this person for a year. That year is a very crucial year. I mean, absolutely, if it is going to be the first year of racing for you as part of a team, you might have done one make races, you might have done your own races on your stock bike, or by with your own set of crew. But when you move to be part of a team, you have this particular window where you need to show your commitment towards the race, and your evaluation point is very, very strong. All the eyeballs will be on you, and you are constantly looking at how you are evolving as a rider, and more than just the performance alone again. Okay, I have a question here. Mohit Kumar is asking, sir, TVS Racing School don't provide level-wise training, and if I attend that, so certificate of TVS Racing training. I think, Mohit Kumar, see, again, I've said in my previous thing, see, the levels of training is just for you to look at it in two formats. One, for real reason, saying what are they pushing your limits to different levels. Is certain academies have levels, certain academies have levels from a commercial angle, where they can have 2-3 batches of different sets and teach different things. So there are different reasons, there are different levels to it. So if you categorize, TVS Racing doesn't give level certificate, but they are a approved academy of FMSCI, and if they provide the certificate, I think FMSCI will be issuing the license, I think. But you better check with TVS Racing before you do the academy, that if their certificates are valid. As far as I know, that it is valid. So I hope that answers your question, Mohit. So this is what a team, coming back to the discussion, this is what the team or team, or a factory team or a private team looks for in a rider. Motocar, namaskara, fan, student from Bangalore. Hi, Motocar. Good to see you. I don't know if I've met you before, but namaskara. I hope you're safe, and thanks for joining this conversation with me. So this is what I wanted to share with you guys, in terms of, I will have more detailed webinars on these concepts and information, probably in the near future, of how to approach a team and what are the things that you need to evaluate from a team, and to get the best out of a team and the best package out of the team to take further steps into a racing career. Now let me start taking a few questions. We met in MMSC. Okay, Motocar. Great. I don't remember someone called Motocar. I don't know your name. So if the name, if you tell me a name, maybe I will remember you. But great. Were you part of the 650s? I don't know. Did we ride the Honda 650 together, Motocar? Give me a yes if you've done that. So from here, I'm going to move to the questions which I've got before the event. So answering a few questions. Some of these I would have answered in my previous event. So if I find a question like that, then I will request you to go back and look at the other previous videos which is available on IGTV and Tenten Racing YouTube, Ranji at Tenten Racing YouTube channel, where you will be able to see those answers, relevant answers. So first on question is from Mahali. I want to participate, but in this, but how? So Mahali, again, I said for you to start racing, you need to first make a commitment. It's not like just going and trying something. Even if you want to try, make a commitment saying, okay, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to give good 6 months or 1 year in this. So what you need to do is to join an academy, train yourself in academy, get the understanding of how riding a bike on a racetrack, because riding a bike on a racetrack is different from the road. So then once you feel comfortable, once you say you're ready for being in a competitive event, then you apply for the race through FMSCI and MMSC in the national championship. In terms of the formats, I have explained this in episode 2, if I'm correct, and you can go and check this particular video on YouTube or in the IGTV, Instagram TV under our channel, and you will be able to understand the steps that you need to follow to take up racing. Mukul V. Kataria. Best age for participation. Again, I've been answering this over and over again. No problem at all. I'll tell you again. The best age is always when you are the youngest. The best age to start and introducing someone to racing is in the age group of 8 to 9. You start step by step and then going forward into different formats of racing. As you start introducing motorcycles to a young kid, there are two things that for sure will happen. He will find his path in the right format of racing, number one. If he is not continuing racing, you would have created a good rider who will not behave unruly on public roads. He will have a much more better responsibility on the bike and a much better bike control on the motorcycle on public roads. So I think I would recommend every parent to give an opportunity for a kid to experience two-wheeler, some format or the other, at a very young age. There are push bikes, from push bikes to mini motors, and so on and so forth. There are smaller vehicles and smaller equipments which are available. But if they experience that in the right way with the right set of people, even if they don't race in a competitive environment, you will surely have a better rider who enjoys a bike with limited amount of danger. So I think it's better to start very young. Saranj is asking why there is no MotoGP in India. Okay, so this has got many reasons to it, but my personal reason being is that we don't have a track in India which can support MotoGP. However, having said that, the format of MotoGP is like a rock show. Okay, I don't know how old you are. Have you seen rock shows, or if you need, suppose if you want what kind of music you listen to also, I don't know. But if you want a particular artist to come and perform in India, say you want Coldplay to come and perform, or you want I don't know, Justin Bieber to come and perform in India, you need an agency, or you need a company which will hire them, bring them here, set up the stage, sell the tickets, bring crowd, and make the crowd experience Justin Bieber or Coldplay or any high top performing artist, right? This is what happens. What does BCCI do in cricket? They invite Australia, they invite West Indies, they invite various other country teams to perform, and then they entertain people. It's an entertainment format, right? So let's understand that it's an entertainment package provided by an agency, a body, a company which is into entertainment business, right? So typically, if we have to invite MotoGP into India, you need a company which will actually invite MotoGP. Dorna is the organizer of MotoGP. So they have to get in touch with Dorna and say, hey, I will pay you the royalty, I will pay you the fee required to conduct MotoGP in India. I will provide you the infrastructure, which is a racetrack, right? Something like a booth racetrack. And you will give me certain rights from which I will make money out of, right? By selling tickets, promotions, advertising, sponsorship, blah, blah, blah. There are many commercial angles to it. There are commercial contracts to it. And MotoGP will then come forward and say, okay, I will come to India. This is what happens in Malaysia. This is what happens in Thailand. This is what happens in Australia or Japan. They look at the sport as a sport and as an entertainment platform which attracts revenue in multiple formats into the country, right? When people come, there are so many people traveling, there are so many riders coming, and press reporters coming. There's an inflow of revenue. So there are multiple commercial angle to it, which is still not exploited in India, and there is no company which is ready to take that risk, or even take a step forward to say I will conduct MotoGP in India. And and it requires a lot of money. Okay, it is not easy game, but yes, the other countries are doing and they've been successful. Malaysia is one of the successful countries which conducts a profitable MotoGP event. I think India has the capacity to do it, and the circuit also to do it, but you need a company or a person who would stand up and say, I'm going to bring MotoGP to India. So we have to wait for that. That's your answer. Vishal Sharma, with regards to joining the academy or the team, I have already explained it's available in the previous video sessions which are available on YouTube and IGTV. Do the teams provide vehicle for all types of categories? Yashwant, to answer your question, there are teams which provide bikes at all types of category. The price might vary from category to category, and they might also evaluate your experience, your previous experience. But if you have the money and if you have some experience behind you of riding on the track, yeah, you can try your hands on 400, 300, 400s also, or the 250s also. There are teams that provide bike on rentals, to be, racing. I'm not going to talk about how to start racing anymore because, like I said, it's available on the previous videos. One make championship next level. So I presume Charlie is asking that what is after one make championship. After one make championship, like I said, either you can set up your own crew, get your own bike, get one mechanic, get one helper, and go start racing in the national championship in a stock category or any other class that you prefer to be in. Or I would prefer that you also can approach a team and rent a bike from them, pay them, be part of the team, and learn the traits of racing and start racing with them. So that's after the one make championship. Charlie, how to get into MotoGP? MotoGP is a very big beast. Okay, so I'm going to take this as a question for my next session, my topic for my next session, which is next Saturday. How to get into MotoGP. Let's talk about it more in detail in the various formats and the steps that we take into MotoGP, because I think everybody in India doesn't talk about anything else but going into MotoGP straight, and nobody understands what is MotoGP. So I will talk about MotoGP and how to get into MotoGP in the next session on next Saturday. Akash, how to get a race license also is explained in the previous videos. There's a step-by-step slide also presented in that. Please take a look at those videos and you will understand. Sir, the whole batch of Delhi talent hunt was disqualified. Yeah, Fisherman 29. Let me say it was not disqualification. You were not selected. We didn't find or identified any particular talent which can be groomed to go to the next level. That was the consensus based on our calculations and based on the scores that came out of the talent hunt and post that training program which we had for a few. However, if you want to inquire about this more, please contact Honda Racing India and they will be happy to explain this whole process to you. But as far as results are concerned, we couldn't. I've got another 4 minutes and I'm going to take up 2 more questions. Jeffrey Albert, being 26-year-old, is there any class for a group where I can start with below? Sure, Jeffrey, there is a 250 class, 200 to 300, where you ride the Honda CBR 250. You can be part of any team that is participating in that. You can pay and get into the team and experience 250. Or there is a 300, 400 format also, where mostly R3s, KTMs, and I think the Kawasaki's are not there. I think the R3 KTMs and the TVS participate in that. So you can, pay and ride in these particular formats which are below 600. So you can try your hands on a few of the teams. Gusto Racing is one team. There is Alisha Abdullah Racing. So obviously, because you're 26 and you want to, it is an experience that you want to gain. It is obviously going to be a paid ride. So you can approach a few teams who are already participating in this particular format of racing. Is there fresh? If there is pressure with immense passion, will the team take a technician and train them? Of course, I've already answered this last time also, Gautam. We would be interested in understanding what is the commitment and what is the contribution that you want to put towards this platform. So with that, I come to the end of the Q&A session which I have done. And I think I've also come to the end of, I think it's almost an hour, and I've also come to the end of today's session. Thank you everybody for joining, and I hope today's session was useful for you to understand what a team or a manufacturer looks for. The talent. Emmanuel Jabraj, welcome. I just answered your $1,000,000 question from last week. Uh, what is it about talent and what does a team look out for in talent? And you can watch this video once the session is over. It will be back live. So this is what a team looks for: commitment, discipline, and then comes performance. Your love for motorcycles and motorcycle racing is what we will look for. Performance can always be trained, and you can learn it. So I hope everybody enjoyed this evening, and everybody is safe and staying at home. Things are open now, but still be safe. Keep your hygiene at top level, and we hope racing will start very soon for us to enjoy, at least at the television level. I don't know when we will start racing at the Nationals or the Asian Championship, but when it starts, we'll be prepared for that. So for now, I wind up today's session. Thanks for joining. See you again next Saturday with the topic of uh, how to go to MotoGP, and I'll try to postmortem the steps to approach MotoGP in various methods. We shall do that next Saturday. Till then, see you. Take care. Ciao.